this family is, but it might as well be my own. One of Yankee Candle's most popular holiday scents is called Balsam and Cedar, and it's described on their website as being the festive scent of a freshly cut tree brought home tied with twine to the top of the car. I think it's interesting that in a world where 80% of American trees, or American Christmas trees, are artificial, people still search for the authenticity, but they search through it through yet another artificial avenue. So I wonder, wouldn't it just be better to get the real thing in the first place? Going to cut down your own Christmas tree is more than just tradition. It is good for the environment, and if you do it right, it's even good for your character. In my family, getting a real tree from a local tree farm is a big deal. I've learned more about myself and about my family from those cold, often longer than they needed to be excursions that I probably like to admit. We always go to the same tree farm where there's an old man who lives there, and we've kind of gotten to know him over the years, and every year he brings out a saw for us to cut down the tree and a basket of candy, and it's something I've always loved. There are 5 of us in my family, and each of us has a really different idea of what the perfect tree looks like. For me, it's as tall as the ceiling will allow and perfectly triangle-shaped with just enough imperfection to give it character. But for my dad, the perfect tree is a glorified shrub, short, fat, and wide. Most of my early Christmas tree memories involve crying and stomping around in the snow as my dad dragged out for what I dubbed the 5th year in a row as the ugliest thing I've ever seen. But for all of my crying, and it's not fair, once we get the tree up and decorated, it never fails to look perfect. And then I get to exercise my humility as I tell my brother that the yellowish, toothpicky-looking thing he picked out isn't so bad after all. Seeing the tree waiting for the garbage truck on New Year's Day is always sad, but it's much better than seeing it sit in a landfill for the next 100 years. Trees at tree farms are grown just for that purpose, so once you cut them down, the next year they're replanted and you're not doing the environment any harm. In fact, in the Rocky Mountain region, the national parks actually encourage people to come in and get a permit to cut down a tree as a way to manage the farms, or to manage the forests, so it's a good thing. And according to the National Christmas Tree Association, which is actually a real thing, 80% of artificial trees are made in China, whereas there are tree farms in all 50 states. So it's good for the economy as well. And it's a good family activity. So in conclusion, having a live, fresh-smelling, probably pretty funky-shaped tree is one of my favorite things about being home for Christmas. So whether it's a white pine, a red cedar, or a blue spruce, like Charlie Brown, we should all just strive to stay away from pink aluminum.